and we want to welcome to the program this morning. Gentleman is a celebrity dog trainer. He's also an Emmy Award-winning star of the CBS show Lucky Dog. I want to welcome to the program Brandon McMillan. Good morning.
Morning. How are you?
I'm doing good. I did not get a chance to read your book, and I'll tell you straight up why. My wife grabbed it, and she's been reading it.
Well, how about you let her interview me then?
I almost thought about that. I was going to say, Anita, you come in, you talk to Brandon, and we're sitting on the couch. I'm watching baseball. She's over there reading the book, and she's laughing. She's going, oh, this, and then she's sharing different things. She says the dog in the book, Kobe, is pretty much, other than the type of breed difference, exactly what our second dog is like. So, in a challenge to train, and that's what your book, I guess, is all about training.
Yeah, Kobe, who I mentioned in the book, he was a little. He must have been probably 7, 8 pounds, little tiny terrier.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, look, man, big things come in small packages in the dog world. He was probably the most headstrong, animal I've ever worked in my life. He probably challenged me more than any. I basically. After I was done with a session with him, I would be drenched in sweat.
Well, it's kind of like that's what Maverick is like. Now, Maverick's is a boxer, a smaller one of our two dogs. The other one's a boxer as well, and I mowed the older one by 3 years. Was a challenge at first to get trained, but has mellowed out and feels, we feel like he's somewhat trained. Maverick, we really just haven't spent the time with it, but Anita says she's getting, let's see, I think I've got to get a harness and a 6-foot lead and some dog treats. I forget what else is on the shopping list.
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, boxers tend to be very high energy, so I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So there's actually, that's one of the first things I cover in the book. There's a chapter that talks about control, dealing with control, and the techniques that we do to gain control of our dog. Because control is actually the first step to training. Without control, you can't train. And this is where most dog owners, they fail with training their dogs, or trying to train a dog before getting control of them. And so I always say, a teacher in a classroom, the reason why she has chairs and desks is because it gets control of her students. If you take those chairs and desks out of a classroom, I guarantee within 15 minutes that teacher would be hogtied in the corner, and the kids would have taken over. So it's the same theory with dog training. Gaining control of your dog is key to actually the training process. So the process is control, then train, then treat. You want to get control of your dog, then train them, and then reward them with a treat.
I see in in your list of stuff here, because again, I didn't get a chance to read the book. You've got 7 common commands, and you use this for no matter what breed, what dog, what owner, correct?
Exactly. I call it the 7 common commands because these are the most common commands you're going to ask your dog to do every single day. So the 7 common commands are sit, stay, down, come, off, heel, and no. And the reason why I chose these 7 is because this is the most common commands you ask your dog to do on a daily basis. And what I did was I eliminated commands that were pretty much just the same. So stay and wait are pretty much identical. And so I'm like, well, I'm not going to teach my dog both. So I'm just going to teach my dog one of those commands. So when it comes to dog training, less is more. You're going to find that if you teach these 7 commands, the dog is going to be a better trained dog than if you taught it 15 commands. Because now in the dog training world, the more you teach them, the more diluted it gets. They're very capable of learning, but now you fill their brain with more information, and so they just get a little, the training gets a little more diluted.
Let me ask you, Brandon McMillan here, and the book is called Lucky Dog Lessons. Where did you get trained to be able to train dogs and animals?
Well, that story dates back from the day I was born. My entire family were all wild animal trainers in the entertainment industry. So I was born and raised in this industry where I was not only my family taught me, but my family, we were all friends and we hung around some of the world's best trainers. And so ever since I was a kid, what I did was I learned from some of the top trainers in the world. And what I would do is I would take a little slice of the pie from every one of their, every one of their methods, their training techniques, until eventually I took a little slice of the pie from every trainer that I trained under, and I pretty much created my own training system.
Are there other animals that you train or would like to train besides dogs? And are dogs the easiest out of all the different animals around the household?
Oh no, I mean I grew up training every big animal, whether it was tigers or lions or elephants, primates, bears. I mean that's my background. I trained animals for the movies for about 15 years. In fact, have you ever seen the movie The Hangover? That was I trained that tiger. I actually raised her from birth, and I trained her. So my background is very rich in wild animal training. So and that's why it's so easy for me to train a dog because if you can train a 500-pound lion,
Yeah.
a 40-pound dog is actually I can do that standing on my head.
Yeah,
Except that dog Kobe.
Well, so again, not having read the book Lucky Dog Lessons because my wife is reading it. In the end, and spoiler alert, I need to turn off the radio real quick. Did Kobe get trained?
Oh, absolutely. If you watch my show, he was actually on my show, Lucky Dog, and that was the whole episode. It was the theme of the episode was this little tiny 6-pound terrier was so rebellious that it took every bit of creativity of my training arsenal to finally get results with this dog. So it's kind of that's the whole point I try to stress in the book. Every dog is trainable. It all depends on what technique you use on what personality. And Kobe was kind of the poster boy for that because I had to try 7 or 8 different techniques on him until one worked. And so that's what I do in the book. I give you different variations of each technique. If one doesn't work, then try this one. And if that doesn't work, then try the next.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I'll have to follow up to you with Maverick. Maverick's the name of our challenge, and see how it goes and see which techniques work, and so we can report back to you. The book is Lucky Dog Lessons. It also includes some other fun stories. My wife was sharing some stuff talking about tips on. You find yourself in a school of sharks. You don't want to try to swim away. Just act like you're supposed to be there or something, I guess. Huh?
Yeah, that's my other passion is sharks. I host Shark Week on Discovery Channel, and that's the first thing you'll learn when you're diving with sharks is you have to basically become the animal. You don't want to be prey. In other words, so if you see a shark swimming out, you believe it or not, the worst thing you can do is swim away because that's what sharks understand. They understand prey swimming away from them, and that's how they catch them.
All right. Well, I'll keep that tip in mind next time I fall overboard. There's some great whites circling. If I'm there with a friend, I'll say, "Quick, swim out of here," and I'll just stay there.
Exactly.
Brandon McMillan, thanks for joining us on the program, Lucky Dog Lessons. I'm hoping it's going to work so that Maverick will be as sweet as Mo is around our household, and we can find that book, I would imagine, pretty much everywhere, correct?
You can find it everywhere. You can go to my website, luckydoglessons.com, and you can buy it there.
All right, we'll look for you on TV for your show and as well next time you're hosting Shark Week. Thank you very much for joining us on the program this morning.
Thanks for having me.
All right.